So Hans, it's no longer a surprise, but you can come on up. Meniscense.
Hi everybody, my name is Hans Lüdemann. I'm the CEO of Meniscense, and I want to talk to you about quality control in liquid handling. Liquid handling is a key platform technology in the life sciences, whether that's handheld pipetters as shown in the two left-hand images there, or automated liquid handling robots, the head of one of which is shown in the image on the right here. These liquid handlers are used to answer key questions such as, which molecule is the best candidate for our next drug? Which treatment will cure this patient's cancer? Does this patient have Zika? Or which of these organisms efficiently produces biofuels? Now the problem is there's no adequate QC tool for liquid handling at this point. And if you think about making widgets, you wouldn't dream of making bolting together components for your widget without using something like calipers to make sure they meet their specifications. You wouldn't dream of building an electronic instrument without first using an oscilloscope or a multimeter and make sure that at the appropriate test points you have the right voltages and currents. Yet in liquid handling, we don't have calipers, we don't have multimeters, and we don't have oscilloscopes. If you think about a typical workflow in liquid handling, you have an automated liquid handler that assembles the correct amounts of reagents and samples in a microplate and then subjects that microplate to an analytical technology, which then generates the answer. Some of these automated workflows can take several days. They use precious samples and expensive reagents, and they are used to inform very high-value downstream decisions. In a diagnostic case, that might be treatment decisions, and in biopharma, they might be pipeline decisions. The cost of errors that are undetected or are detected too late is very high. There's wasted samples, there's wasted materials, labor, and capacity. And in some cases, the avoidable costs, if you could detect liquid handling errors early, amounts to several thousands of dollars per failed sample. If you talk about delayed or misinformed downstream decisions, for example, in biopharma, the avoidable costs can be between tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars per day of delay. The technology status quo is best characterized like this. The quality control does not happen in real time, does not happen on actual samples, errors are being caught too late, the technology does not provide an audit trail, and that leads to unnecessary costs, waste, and delays. Our solution is the Meniscense volume reader. It measures sample volumes in real time on actual samples. It allows you to find and mitigate errors immediately, and it provides a finely granular audit trail, which reduces costs, waste, and provides faster results. Our technology works by sensing the fill height with light. We're using a benchtop instrument that is based on optical interferometry, provides volume data in real time with very high resolution, non-destructively. We have a proof of concept prototype, one of which is shown here on the right, and we have a published paper. We also have a pending patent on our technology in the US, Canada, and Europe. There's about 50,000 liquid handling robots installed, and 10,000 more are being sold every year. The market for liquid handling is $1.8 billion per year, and the bigger market for laboratory automation is $4 billion a year. Our initial product will be a benchtop instrument for an initial price of $50,000. There are recurring revenue opportunities through the provision of validation and monitoring services and through software integration. And there are follow-on products in terms of OEM sensors that we intend to provide for integration into the leading liquid handling platforms. In terms of timelines, in 5 months, we can have 3 to 4 units made and specs and costs de-risked. 4 months later, we can have these units evaluated in customer alpha development programs and internal application development programs. In 16 months, we can have a benchtop reader ready for sale, and in 24 months, we can be cash flow positive. We have external partners that are ready to develop alpha prototypes for us, and we're in conversations on distribution alliances. We have a team that's experienced in R&D, applications, and business development in the life sciences tools space. And to sum up, the 1-minute sign just went up, we're doing real-time quality control for liquid handlers. Our value proposition is that we avoid the cost of late or undetected errors, and we improve process efficiency and equipment utilization. We have an experienced team, and we're building partnerships for rapid development and market entry. Thank you.
Fantastic. No hook needed. All right, judges.
So talk about more on the distribution, how you plan to bring this to market, please?
Yeah, so we're following two different avenues. One is partnerships with some of the market leaders in the automated liquid handling space who could integrate this into their robots and introduce us to their sort of highest value customers who have the highest pain from failed samples. They are incentivized to make sure their customers or their robots meet their customers' needs. And the other avenue we're pursuing is with distributors who have existing relationships with these high value customers who basically purchase customized robotic solutions for their workflows.
You at one point you said the lab handling market was 1.8 billion, right?
Yes.
Is that the market for how much you could charge to
No.
sell your product to every lab handling, liquid handling piece of equipment?
No, that's the liquid handling market for automated liquid handling robots. We estimate that in so the best estimate for the available size of our market is the fact that there's about 50,000 of these robots installed currently, and we estimate that about a third of those are a realistic target market for our solution, just because some robots are not in applications where it's that critical, and sometimes there's several robots in one site, and you don't need the volume measurement instrument on every robot at every time. So.
Who else is using optical technology to measure the volume in these samples?
So that could be a trick question, but I don't think it is. So there's the biggest competitor in this market is the company at the top here. It's Artel. They do use optical technology, but it's much less sophisticated. They basically sell proprietary dye solutions. And it's optical, but they don't use interferometry. They have nowhere near the same resolution. They can only look at their solutions, not at actual samples, but it's optical, and therefore I have to mention it to answer your question. We have a patent on using interferometry for fill height measurements, and we're the only ones doing that, and we're the first ones to suggest that.
Well played.
Thank you.
So going back to the business model, you said your equipment is priced at about $50,000.
Yes, that's the intended initial price.
And it's a capital sale.
Yes.
And how are you going to go to market? Are you building a sales force here?
We intend to utilize distributors with existing sales forces.
Okay, how much is a liquid handling machine? Just to put it in context, if it's $50,000 for your calibration instrument, how much is the actual robotic? So
the typical liquid handlers are sort of between $150,000 and $200,000, but that's just a liquid handler, and typically there is quite a bit of ancillary equipment that's being grouped around these higher value liquid handlers, such as plate readers, balances, centrifuges. So we'd be in a ballpark similar to that. Maybe one other way of answering your question is if you look at these competing technologies here, the top solution that is based on photometric testing is about $60,000. There's two different solutions that are based on ultrasonic ranging that are around $30,000, and we're providing significantly more value than that. The scale solution from Metal Toledo there is quite a bit cheaper, but it's really not suitable for most applications. It's about $10,000, $15,000, but it's not suitable for most applications that we would be targeting.
What % of liquid handling technology today uses some form of quality control, optical quality control? I guess not even optical, but some sort of quality control.
Yeah. So the leading platforms at the bottom here, they have internal quality control mechanisms, but they really are intended to have a very coarse malfunctioning, avoiding very coarse malfunctions. They won't help you detect the type of quality control errors that we are after. In terms of the market leader, Artel, we estimate that they are selling between 150 and 250 instruments per year.
How many samples per minute can this technology test, and do the samples need to be static while they're being tested?
They do need to be static. So Our target is to scan a microplate in 30 seconds. It's our initial target. And the real bottleneck in the process, which we think we can get to in a subsequent stage of development, is to be able to scan the target as quickly as the robot can dispense it. You don't need to be any faster than that. And it's about 6 to 10 seconds.
All right. He made it through the question. So thank Hans one more time.